If you watch any form of Dead by Daylight content live on twitch.com, then you're probably already aware that a lot of the big Dead by Daylight streamers have currently been the victim of DDoS attacks. But it isn't just the big streamers who are at risk of this. It's creators of all shapes and sizes. Anybody who goes live with Dead by Daylight content is potentially a target of these DDoS attackers. And this is a really big issue. Not just for live streamers, but for anybody who plays Dead by Daylight content. This is a really big security issue that I think we need to talk about. So let's talk about it. But before we get into the nitty and gritty of it, I want to say, first of all, the most important thing that I want you to take away from this video is how to protect yourself. And the easiest way to protect yourself is by using a VPN, a virtual private network. For about a year now, I've been using one to protect myself, and I specifically use ExpressVPN, who incidentally have kindly offered to sponsor today's video. ExpressVPN is a top-rated VPN provider with the fastest speed thanks to its premium servers. Now, if you're not sure how VPNs work, because they can get a little bit confusing, essentially imagine your data as a car on a public highway or motorway if you're British. Your car is not hidden in any way. It's available for everybody to see and everybody to access. And what a VPN does is essentially create a private tunnel for your car and for your data so that it cannot be accessed by any external forces. Now, as mentioned, the main reason people use a VPN, me included, is for security and privacy. It encrypts your data so that not even your internet service provider can access it and use it. But it can also be used for other reasons, such as accessing content. For example, is there something that you want to watch on Netflix or YouTube that is restricted to a certain country? Well, VPN gives you unrestricted access to all parts of the internet, allowing you to bypass those restrictions and watch whatever you want. To get ExpressVPN, just click the link below. And when you use my link, you will get your first 3 months for free. Personally, when I was looking for a VPN, I shopped around on a few different services, but ExpressVPN was by far the best one out of the ones I've tried, especially for me as a Twitch streamer. So I'd highly recommend, if you're a Dead by Daylight player or just want to protect yourself in any way possible, take up this offer and start using a VPN. It will help. So with that out of the way, let's talk about what's been happening. The skinny of it is that everybody in the Dead by Daylight live streaming community has been a target of DDoS attacks. People like Starver, True Talent, for example, those bigger names, but also people who may not be well known within the community. It seems that these people are attacking streamers with no prejudice and no real agenda either. Now, if you're confused as to what a DDoS attack is, because to be honest, I'm not very techie, even though I'm a Twitch streamer, so I had to kind of look it up. Essentially, a DDoS attack is an attempt to overload a server to shut it down. If we go back to that car analogy that I was telling you earlier, if you imagine your data as a highway, what a DDoS attack does is flood that highway with tons of cars to create a traffic jam so that no more data can get through, no more cars can get through. And the result of this is that your device can no longer connect to the internet, which, especially if you're a Twitch streamer, you can probably see how that could get a little bit annoying and in the way of certain things. Now, with this seeming to be targeted towards Dead by Daylight, everybody was waiting for what Behaviour were going to say about it, if Behaviour were going to do anything about it, essentially. And they did release a statement yesterday which said, the team has been actively investigating reports of distributed denial of services DDoS attacks happening over the weekend to prominent streamers in our community. We are working closely with our partners to identify the actual cause behind these reports, and you can read the rest of what they've said there. So essentially, Behaviour are looking into it. They're investigating it. And on the surface, that seems excellent. You know, the devs are looking into it. They're going to fix it. They're going to figure out what's wrong. But then, if you do a little bit more digging, red flags start being raised. For example, Dowsy pointed out on Twitter that if you look at the recent post about DDoS attacks from Behaviour, and then you look at their previous post, you can essentially play a little game of spot the difference. And I have the answer. They used a picture this time to promote engagement. That's what you do on Twitter. You use a GIF or a picture and more people are apparently bound to see it. Anyway, the important thing to note here is that this post, this second post, this earlier post, was from November 2021. We are in March of 2023. This is worth noting because this has been an issue in Dead by Daylight for a long time. You probably remember as well that last year there were so many issues with hackers and cheaters in games, people who were specifically targeting streamers. It's the same problem that is being abused right now for these DDoS attacks, that Behaviour keeps saying they're going to do something about, but are yet to actually act upon. Now, in terms of why these DDoS attacks are happening, honestly, it doesn't seem like there's an official reason. Like, it's not like these hackers are holding the DBD servers to ransom and demanding that Behavior nerf the pig, for example. Somebody in my Discord posted a theory that these kind of attacks happen in games when the community at large is disgruntled with the state of the game. And to be fair, given how everybody has been very unhappy recently with the Night release and the School Merchant release and just the overall state of the game, it's not a far stretch of the imagination to say that that is the reason why. But honestly, I think that these guys are doing this because they can. This has been an issue in Behavior servers and Dead by Daylight servers for years now, and it's not been fixed. It's not been patched. Behavior kind of seem to acknowledge that the problem is there every time it becomes a problem, and then just wait for it all to kind of gloss over for these attackers to get bored and go off and do something else without ever actually fixing the problem. So my guess is that these guys are doing it just because they can. Just because Behavior are going to do nothing about it. They're just going to make a statement and everyone's going to move on eventually. Now, obviously, as a result of all of this, people have been very scared to play or stream Dead by Daylight. So let's go over some of the things that you can do if you do get targeted, if you are the victim of a DDoS attack, because I think it's important to know what might happen and what you can do off the back of it and what you should do off the back of it as well. So the first thing that you should do if you do get DDoS attacked is to reset your internet and then contact your internet service provider. Talk to them about what you think has happened, and hopefully you will be able to get to the bottom of what did happen, and they will be able to tell you if it was a DDoS attack, or maybe it could be just issues with the service in your area and it's just come at a poor time. It's better to know for certain rather than just guess. There is one very, very, very important thing to note here when it comes to using a VPN. If you are already the victim of a DDoS attack, that means these attackers already have your IP address, which is what they use to attack. If you then use a VPN, that's not going to actually protect you in the way that it should, because these guys already have what they need to attack you with. It's essentially like trying to fix a sinking ship with a piece of duct tape. So what you need to do if you are the victim of an attack is contact your ISP, change your IP address, and then start using a VPN whenever your PC is switched on. There's no point in using a VPN once you've been attacked if you don't change the information that these attackers already have in the first place. Now, if you haven't yet been attacked and you're looking for ways to protect yourself, I would recommend 4 different options. The first one, use a VPN. I mentioned it earlier in the video, and again, check the link down below to use ExpressVPN, and I would highly recommend it. It is the best way to protect yourself in this situation. The second option is to not play Dead by Daylight on Steam. This does seem to be a Steam issue. It doesn't seem to be affecting console players or Epic Game players. So if you want to continue playing Dead by Daylight and you're currently on Steam, then come off of Steam, go onto a different platform. If you can afford it, obviously you might need to buy a new game, which is kind of an issue in and of itself, but that is a good way to protect yourself as well. The third option is to be as anonymous as possible. So if you are creating a new account on a different platform, keep your name out of it. Use a random alt name. Also use anonymous mode that's built into Dead by Daylight. Basically just try and hide who you are as much as possible. And the fourth option, which probably seems like the most obvious option and seems to be the one that a lot of people are taking, is to not play Dead by Daylight. Until this whole situation is sorted, until the fix is implemented, just don't play the game. Obviously, it sucks for people who are creating content around the game or just who like to play the game, full stop. But it's definitely more important to protect yourself rather than keep playing this game. And to be honest, Behavior are dropping the ball here. It's just, there's no other way of looking at that. Behavior are really screwing over us as the player base by not implementing solutions, by continuously ignoring this issue and just trying to let it gloss over without actually putting anything in place to fix it. So to be fair, if you're part of the group that wants to boycott Dead by Daylight until Behavior gets their act together, then fair play. I honestly see why you're doing it. I get it. And I think everybody else in the community would get it as well. So that's probably the best option if you want to protect yourself, is just to not play the game, full stop. Obviously, in this situation, the thing that we want to do is hold out hope. So while Behavior haven't acted on their promises to investigate and fix these issues in the past, hopefully this will be the time they do it. And hopefully we will be all able to play the game safely again in the next few days. But until then, just keep an eye on what's happening. But obviously, let me know what you think in the comments about this. And if you have any other suggestions to protect yourself if you're playing DBD, please feel free to leave them down below. Thank you again to ExpressVPN for sponsoring this video. And remember, guys, to check out the link down below. Also, remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching. Go out there and be the best damn crunks that you can be. And I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.
So let me break it all down for you. I ain't never giving up, I ain't never giving up. I'm taking that crown from you.